Hello everyone, and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. I am switching things up this week and trying a new style, so let me know if you like it. First Sunday, we had franks and beans. Now this is like Gary's semi-homemade but not at the same time. So he uses green pepper and he dices it up, and just a regular can of baked beans, mustard, syrup, ketchup, and brown sugar. So he cuts up the hot dogs and puts them in a pan and then adds the green pepper, lets them all warm up for a little bit, and then he added some syrup, mixed it all around, added brown sugar and ketchup and mustard to taste, let that all simmer for a while, and then added the baked beans and again left that going for a little bit and just got everything all warmed up and ready to go, and that was dinner. We just had a little bit left over and I sent that with him to work one day for lunch. On Monday, we had Mississippi beef with white rice, peas, and applesauce. So I used this London broil, and I had never used London broil before, never made it at all, and I wasn't even sure if this was going to work. But we bought some at BJ's, so I was going to use it. And instead of pepperoncinis, I used these mild banana peppers, so they're not spicy for the kids. This au jus gravy packet and a ranch packet and a stick of butter. So I sprayed my crock pot and threw everything in there and put it on low for about 8 hours. And then I put this jasmine rice in the rice cooker, obviously, and just heated up peas on the stove. And the London broil in the crock pot actually worked really well. Look at this. I'm pulling it out and trying to share with you how delicious it looked. And it tasted so good. As for the tenderness, it was quite tender, but I think maybe another hour would have really made it like even more tender. I mean, you can see it's just falling apart, but I don't know, maybe another hour just for personal preference, but at the same time, it was delicious. And as you see, falling apart. And there are the leftovers. We had about maybe a little less than half, and Haley wasn't even home to eat with us. So then we had some rice and some peas left as well. For Tuesday, we kept with like a Taco Tuesday theme. We had beef fajitas. I used this beef stew meat that I had in the freezer, and I just used this fajita packet, and I used my Instant Pot slow cooker function, and I have to say I did not like it, and I will not do it again. So I put the beef in there and put the packet in there with some water, and then I turned it on slow cooker for 7 hours, I believe. And I ended up stopping it after maybe an hour and turning it on saute for a minute to kind of, this is when I had stopped it, to try to saute the meat and brown it because I had forgotten to do that before. I put them in the crock pot. I wanted to sear it and I forgot. So I did that, and then I turned it back on slow cooker, and I just wasn't impressed with it. And then I used this salsa verde with some rice that I already had made in the freezer. I had made it for Sunday prep, so I already had it ready to go. And I mixed the salsa verde in with the rice to make just like a Mexican kind of rice. And I heated up that can of corn. And then to make the fajitas, I didn't have any fresh pepper, so I had to use this pepper and onion blend. So I just heated that up in some extra virgin olive oil. And then I ended up adding the beef in for a little bit and letting all of that just get tender and ready to go, I guess, ready to be eaten. So here's a look at all of it together. That was the rice and the corn and the beef and onions and peppers. And I almost just dropped the camera there. That's why it shook like that. All of it ready to go. And we served it with flour tortillas, cheese, sour cream, and avocado. So there is Everly's plate. She likes all hers, of course, separate because she's a 2-year-old. That was Ashlyn's plate, and she got some corn, and there was my plate and Daddy's plate, I believe, or no, Hayden's plate, and then my plate, and there's Gary's plate. And as far as leftovers go, we had a little bit of that left. We had just a little tiny bit of corn, and we had some rice, and we ended up eating all of that for leftover night, so none of it got wasted, and none of it was left any further than that. And then for dessert this night, I made a chocolate cake. It was a box mix, so nothing fancy, but it was really, really, really good. For Wednesday dinner, we just had mini meatloafs, meatloaf muffins, meatloaf cupcakes, whatever you want to call it. I did 2 pounds of ground beef, and I added some oatmeal into it. And I make the meatloaf different every time I make it, but here I added ketchup, Worcestershire sauce. I added 2 eggs because I added 1 per pound of ground beef. I also added parsley and Italian seasoning, and then I added ground mustard, and then that right there that I'm adding is salt, pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder, all mixed in one container because I use it often, so I just pre-made a container of it. And then I used my KitchenAid to mix it all up and get it all incorporated, I guess. And then I had put it in a bag and put it in the fridge until I was ready to make it because I did make this ahead of time. If you saw our Sunday prep, you would see that I made that on Sunday and it was ready to go for me when I needed it that night. So here I am making the potatoes. I put them on manual for 12 minutes after I washed and scrubbed them. And I add garlic powder, salt, pepper, onion powder. And then I add also milk and butter and just mixed it all up right in the Instant Pot bowl. I thought I had been taking video of me making this meatloaf, and I totally didn't. I had it set up and ready to go, and I guess I didn't hit record, but I just shaped them into balls and put them in the pan and topped them with ketchup and a brown sugar mixed together and baked them at 350 for 25 minutes. I heated up a can of green beans, and then there's our mashed potatoes. So there is Miss Everly's plate. There was Ashlyn's plate. That was Hayden's plate. There's my plate, and there's Gary's plate, and again, Haley was at volleyball. So we had 6 of those left. We had no mashed potatoes and no green beans. And then this night we had the leftover cake for dessert. And Thursday, if you're new, is our designated leftover night. So here you are seeing everything that we had left over from the week. So I just pull everything out and let people make plates as they please, whatever they want. And we just heat it up and eat all of that. All of that meatloaf got eaten, the yogurts got eaten, the rice, all the beef fajita stuff. That was Ashlyn's plate right there. It was very random, but that's what she ate. And then this was Haley's plate. I also sliced up some apple for some kids that wanted them, and she got a yogurt. And here's Hayden's plate. He had a bunch of stuff. I don't even know. Oh, that Outback bread. Oh, it's so good. And there was my plate. I made another beef fajita. I actually ended up having 2 of them. And then Gary was standing there heating up his food. And then that was Miss Everly's plate. She just had rice and apple cut up. Some days she doesn't eat. Gary had, I don't even remember. And then Wilder was eating on some cheese. For Friday night, we made homemade cheeseburgers, homemade buns that were in the freezer, so I didn't even have to make them that night, and I made homemade pasta salad. So Gary made the meat with this Montreal steak seasoning, and there he was mixing everything up, and he shaped it all into patties. So there's all the burger patties that he made, and while he was doing the burgers and grilling them outside, I was making pasta salad. So I used the Instant Pot for the pasta. I use this radiator, or I don't even know how you say it, but you put it in the Instant Pot and cover it just with water, just over the top of the noodles, and I put it on manual for 5 minutes, and it was perfect. So with my pasta salad, I just use whatever we have in the fridge. I like green pepper, but we didn't have any, so I used celery, tomatoes, mayonnaise, that ranch packet, and this pepper jack cheese, and I just mixed it all up in that bowl. So there's everything all diced up and ready to go. So I throw it in the bowl, and then I add some mayonnaise and ranch and toss all that together. The ranch packet, I mean, not like ranch dressing in the bottle. the ranch packet and the mayonnaise go in there, and then I mixed that around, added the vegetables, drained the noodles when they were done, and rinsed them under cold water so they got cold and they weren't hot, and then I added that to the bowl. And this is how the burgers came out, and he just topped them with cheese. And there's the pasta salad. We love doing pasta salad like that. So we just had a couple burgers left. I think there's 4 in there maybe. And we had quite a bit of pasta salad left, but that's actually already gone because we ate it for lunch the next day. So Saturday, we made homemade pizza. For the pizza dough, I just make it all in the bread maker. It is actually JAMERRILL Stewart's pizza dough recipe. The only thing I do different is I add 2 tablespoons of garlic powder and 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. And that's just how we like it. I will leave the link for her pizza dough recipe down below. And again, you can just add Italian seasoning and garlic powder if you wish. We like it like that. And you just put it on the dough setting in your bread maker, and when it's done, you pull it out and let it rest and rise for an hour and a half. So we did that. And then I also made our own pizza sauce, but I have a recipe right here. I actually tripled the recipe so I could freeze some. So you use tomato sauce and tomato paste, garlic salt, onion powder, garlic powder, pepper, sugar, and Italian seasoning. So I'm just making it right here on the stove. And again, I tripled it. I will leave the recipe down below for you guys. And I'll just leave the single recipe, and you can double, triple, quadruple it, or just make one if you wish. And that's how it came out. It is so, so, so good. Better than anything I've ever bought for sure. Everyone actually commented on it at dinner. So we used crushed pineapple and pepperoni. I love pineapple and pepperoni pizza, mozzarella cheese, and of course the dough and the sauce that we just made. And there is Gary and Ashlyn both trying to help make the doughs. And as you can see, it was a family affair. So here's both the pizzas after they're done being made and getting ready to go in the oven. Both of them were half cheese. And so with the crushed pineapple, I decided instead of wasting it, I was going to make a pineapple cobbler. Never heard of it, never had it, but I just used my strawberry cobbler recipe, and it's in the oven baking now as I do this video. And then there's the 2 extra pizza sauces I made because I said I tripled it. I put it into bags and I froze them. And here are the pizzas. There's the one that Gary made, and here's the one that I made with the pineapple. Well, here is the pineapple cobbler fresh out of the oven. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this new style of our What's for Dinner, please let me know. Give us a thumbs up and let me know in the comments if you like it. And if not, I guess I can go back to the old way. I don't know. I just figured I'd try something new this week and see how it went, see if everyone liked it. Tried to do a voiceover and show you how I cook things. But if you don't like it, let me know, and we'll be back next week with another What's for Dinner, and I will see you guys tomorrow with a new episode of something, and I will chat with you guys in those comments below. Have a great week. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and enjoy these other videos we have coming up for you. Also, you can turn on the red bell notifications so you're notified of every new video we post. Thank you so much.